I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlyn as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they had been tweeting about Caitlyn more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it.
13,000 pairs, gone in 60 seconds. At 10 a.m. on a random Monday, Nike dropped a limited run Kobe 5 PE stamped with Caitlyn Clark's initials, and the internet erupted into a Black Friday on caffeine free-for-all. Checkout pages froze, bots crashed, and resale sites shot past $350 before the confirmation emails even landed. In less than a minute, Clark proved she could pull a sneaker rush rivaling the glory days of retro Jordans, without a single billboard, teaser trailer, or flashy unboxing video. How did Nike spend 2 straight years pouring marketing gold into someone else while the real cash tornado was right under their swoosh?
Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlyn Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlyn Clark defect.
Tonight, we follow the money trail, the bruised egos, and the corporate U-turn that changed everything. Keep watching, because the boldest twist is still on the horizon. Rewind to 2024. Nike crowns A'ja Wilson its next women's flag bearer, rolls out a Malia Obama-directed ad, and gives her a signature logo etched into Celtic knots and grandma quotes. The company floods social feeds with slow-mo dunks and heartfelt monologues, convinced they've found their lighthouse in the fog. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark is torching NCAA record books and repurposed Kobe's, drawing TV audiences bigger than several NBA regular season games, yet still waiting at the kids' table for a real shoe.
Your stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlyn Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe.
Nike's executives, drunk on focus group data, treat Clark like a side cameo, certain their long-planned A1 line will rewrite the sneaker playbook. It doesn't. In fact, the more Wilson's polished promos roll out, the louder Clark's unscripted half-court bombs echo. The disconnect is obvious to everyone, except the people writing the marketing checks. And then the spreadsheets arrive. But the next set of numbers didn't just raise eyebrows. They triggered a 5-alarm boardroom siren. Clark's first public-facing product, a co-branded Kobe 5 Protro, retailing at $190. Allocation? Roughly 13,000 pairs. Sellout time? About 60 seconds.
I lost all respect for A'ja Wilson. I don't want to hear her opinions. I don't care what she has to say from this point on. When you keep a Nike deal 2 years in secret while you're spewing all that crazy stuff about Caitlyn Clark in the Time magazine, read it. Read what she said in the Time magazine. Yet you had a Nike deal the whole entire time?
Secondary market spike, $350 to $600 within the hour. Across the country, sneakerheads camp outside Dick's Sporting Goods as if Taylor Swift tickets were hidden inside. Simultaneously, the AA1 launches at a lower price point, $110. But multiple restocks linger, and mid-sizes quietly hit the clearance carousel weeks later. Nike's internal traffic dashboard tells the brutal story. Clark's drop generates 8 times the click volume Wilson's entire launch week musters. Investors notice, too, because the swoosh is limping toward an 11.5% revenue slide, the worst in 5 years. New CEO Elliott Hill starts fielding panicked calls.
And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
The data scientists can phrase it politely, but the bottom line screams one thing. The brand bet on the wrong horse, and the market just slapped them awake. Inside Nike's glass headquarters, the mood flips from confident to crimson, and a sudden pivot begins. Former Nike basketball marketing chief Jordan Rodgers makes the first public jab, calling the company's Clark strategy the biggest lost layup in modern sports branding. Shareholders blast the clip across LinkedIn, and mainstream outlets amplify the critique. Hill convenes an emergency summit 2 weeks later. The mandate: shift every discretionary ad dollar behind Clark.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial?
Now, the veteran planners who spent 18 months storyboarding Wilson's diamond in the rough journey watch their production calendars get shredded in real time. Fresh prototypes for Clark's own silhouette, once slotted for late Toussaint 6, are yanked forward. Graphic designers pull all-nighters retouching presentation decks, while logistics managers scramble to secure Vietnamese factory capacity that's already stretched thin for the Paris Olympics sprint shoe line. One exec allegedly jokes, "We've spent more on A/B tests than we've spent listening to our wallets." Behind closed doors, nobody's laughing, because Nike's 5-year stock chart is sliding faster than a downhill ice sheet, and Wall Street wants an answer bigger than a heartfelt press release.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now, Kobe, respect to Kobe, legend, rest in peace, great basketball player.
But course corrections in Oregon rarely happen without collateral damage, and feathers start flying. The June 30th Kobe PE drop is Nike's public mea culpa and real-time stress test. It lands like a meteor. In the same week, industry insiders leak a target month for the true Caitlin Clark signature line, November 2025, positioned for holiday insanity. The rumored shoe will ditch Kobe tooling, feature a minimalist double C monogram, and debut in 3 colorways tied to Clark's record-breaking moments. Super Bowl advertisers catch wind early. Nike buys a 60-second slot titled "So Win," placing Clark shoulder to shoulder with Sha'Carri Richardson and gymnast Jordan Chiles.
Well, I don't think I'd be in the wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in, because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs on Sneakers App tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult comp. But my hope seriously is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out, that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Kobe's drop for the public.
The message is unsubtle. Reset the hierarchy, put Clark front and center, revive the classic swoosh swagger. Behind the scenes, Wilson's team is said to be livid, arguing the brand's pivot undermines the carefully plotted second wave of the A1 rollout. But Nike's marketing war room now speaks one language: demand projection. And Clark's numbers read like a cheat code. Yet outside the sneaker bubble, a louder storm is brewing, one that can't be solved with supply chain forecasts. A regional economic study pins Clark's 2023-24 collegiate season at an $82 million bump for Iowa's hotels, bars, and small businesses. Critics argue the math is fuzzy, but try telling that to the downtown restaurants turning over tables like it's March Madness every weekend. Ticket prices triple whenever Clark's schedule hits the calendar. Local media sales reps call her the $82 million meteor. Translation for Nike: if one 23-year-old can do that for a state economy, what happens when her logo actually shows up on shelves worldwide? The demand modelers punch numbers. A modest 50,000-pair first run of a Clark signature could gross $9.5 million at retail in minutes, before a single TV spot airs. And that's a conservative forecast. The slide deck ends with a blunt caption: "We cannot afford another miss." So what does the next chapter look like? Think bigger than any WNBA shoe line to date. Early prototype leaks show a low top built for quick releases, reinforced lateral shanks, and a weight under 11 ounces, lighter than the Kobe 5. 3 debut colorways each tell a piece of Clark's story. Logo legend, black and neon inspired by her half-court bombs; Hawkeye Heat, gold accents nodding to Iowa records; and Indy Ice, subtle fever red woven beneath frosted mesh. Nike's gamble? Drop all 3 in a single global launch week, mirroring the 2016 Kyrie 2 playbook, but with women's sizing prioritized. Insiders hint at an 80,000-pair stock number, double the Onyx Foamposite run that once melted SNKRS servers. If sell-through rates hit 90%, analysts predict a visible uptick in Nike's Q2 earnings call, a rare feat for one shoe in an $11 billion quarterly pie. Rivals are maneuvering too. Reebok extends Angel Reese's contract, slaps her on Times Square billboards, and schedules a December drop to siphon holiday hype. Adidas courts high school phenom Juju Watkins, hoping to plant their own flag before Clark's influence snowballs further. Behind closed doors, Nike's message to factories is simple: lock down every last midsole. We're all in. Because if this launch stumbles, the swoosh may watch its greatest women's prospect walk across the street in T9. And no pivot will fix that. A sneaker that cost $190 and vanished in a heartbeat just forced a $163 billion giant to rewrite its playbook. Nike's belated embrace of Caitlin Clark is more than a marketing correction. It's a referendum on listening to the consumer uproar that's rattling their very foundations. Wilson's A1 isn't doomed, but the spotlight has shifted, and the world will be watching how the brand juggles 2 narratives without pitting its own athletes against each other. November 2025 now looms like a finish line/starting gun. If the Clark signature lands with the same thunder as her logo 3s, Nike's 5-year slump could pivot into a historic rebound. If it doesn't, another company will gladly build the empire she's already proven she can command. So the question hangs in the air, buzzing like a last-second buzzer beater. Has Nike finally laced up the right pair, or will Clark's next miracle come stamped with a different logo? Like, subscribe, and smash that bell, because the next chapter is only one refresh away.